Okay, Derbyites. It's a little early in the Emmy season, but we're going to talk about our predictions. I'm here with Ralph Galvan, one of the Derbyite nominees for Bitchiest Forum Poster. How's it going, Ralph?
Not nominees, Marcus. We already did the damn award show. Get your facts right. Came in third.
Oh, you came in third. Hey, that's not bad. So let's just talk about all of our predictions here for the Emmys. It's still early, but we can mix and match things later on, take things out, put things in. But right now, let's start with comedy series. What do you have winning there?
Well, in my first place, I guess, is what you're asking. I have Modern Family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got winning. I don't think it'll lose.
Yeah, I have it there too. They've had some really good episodes this season. The Connection Lost episode is one of the best they've ever done, and it's rare for a show in its sixth season to claim that, to say, the one we just did is one of our best of all time, and the show is just on fire. Yeah, it's not as popular as it used to be, and there's a lot of people that are tired of it winning. But since when have the Emmys cared what people are tired of?
That's a good point. And if you look at who we have as alternatives, I mean, honestly, which ones can we take seriously to beat the 5-time reigning champ? I mean, it has such broad appeal, and I think that until something comes up with equally broad appeal, I don't know what's going to overtake it.
Right. And it's interesting this year, we could have a record in comedy series because Modern Family could break that, and in drama series. If Mad Men wins, it'll have 5 wins, which will be the record. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So give me your rundown after Modern Family. What do you have 2 through 7? Because there's going to be at least 7 nominees this year.
At least. In second place, this will make you happy, I have Veep. After Veep, I have Silicon Valley. I have Louie, The Big Bang Theory. I have Grace and Frankie. And, of course, Jane the Virgin.
And wait, was that 6 or 7?
Jane was 7. Grace and Frankie was 6.
Okay. I didn't hear you say Big Bang Theory, or did I miss that?
No, I had that in there.
Okay.
That was in 5th.
All right, so I have Modern Family and then Veep, so we have our top 2 similar. And then I have Big Bang Theory. I might put that down lower, actually, now that I think about it. And then I have Silicon Valley in 4th. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt in 5th. I think you're crazy for not putting that in your predictions. And then I have The Comedians, and then I have The Last Man on Earth. So actually, we have a lot of differences here.
Which is great for me, because that means that I'm doing something right if I don't agree with you. Because the Dixon curse, as we all learned last year, is alive and well. And I mean, oh, wait, so what do you have that so you don't have Grace and Frankie in there?
Right, I did have that for a while. That one, I might put it in there after I've seen it. I don't think anyone has seen that yet, as far as I know.
No, it hasn't come out yet. Yeah, and they haven't sent us screeners yet.
Right, and I've noticed we also don't have Transparent in our lists. That's the Golden Globe winner for Best Comedy Series. But yeah, I think, last year I was one of the only editors, maybe the only editor who actually had Silicon Valley in his predictions, and I got that one when it had 100-1 odds. So I'm banking on that getting in again. I mean, I've only seen the first episode so far, but it's just as good as last season. So why would they snub it?
Yeah, I actually had it in last year. I think I even had it like in 3rd, just because we went to the premiere. And we saw the reception that it had there, and the ratings continued to grow, and it got better as the season went on and a little more popular thanks to its Game of Thrones lead-in. And I don't see them backing out of it now. I mean, it's rare that they'll introduce a show into their lineup and then the next year after the first season take it out. And it's so premature to even say if they would, because we've only gotten 2 episodes in, and they've been 2 solid episodes. So I think it's one of the safest ones in the group.
Right. And Veep, oh my gosh, Veep is one of my favorite shows on all of television. it could win. We both have it in second. And this season, of course, I mean, spoiler alert, she's the president now. So that opens up this huge other, opportunity for the show to go places it hasn't gone before. It's going to reinvent itself this year. And I don't know, from the episodes I've seen so far, it's really, really good. I'm hoping that it'll get even better than season 3, which was my favorite season. But she is very unlikable. That might be a good transition to comedy actress. The episode I just saw, she screams at poor Tony Hale, literally, like, almost rips his head off. And I'm thinking when I'm watching this, like, can she win a 4th? I know you were on this bandwagon last year. She wasn't going to win because she's so unlikable. Now that she's president, she's almost more unlikable, which is crazy. And that's not a slight against Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's the funniest actress on television, but her character is. What do you think about her chance of being a 4-time winner here for this role? She's already won before for Seinfeld and for New Adventures of Old Christine, of course.
I mean, if Jim Parsons can do it, for one role, I don't see why Julia can't. But 4 times in a row, that's not even Bryan Cranston could do that. They had to give a break in the middle. So, and I'm not even going to comment on the unlikable thing because I pointed it out last year. I mean, and this year you're right. The last episode, which I thought Tony Hill was great in, and I thought it was a really good episode. But yeah, I mean, again, she's just so. Not that this is her Emmy tape by any means, but it is. What's that?
It could be Tony's Emmy episode.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if she loses, who could win? Amy Poehler? I have her.
I have her in 6. If Chris Beecham is listening, he's probably stabbing me a voodoo doll of me in his place right now because I'm sure he has her in 1st and is really hoping that they just give her an Emmy. I actually have Julia Louis-Dreyfus in 2nd.
Okay, so who do you have in 1st?
One guess who I have in 1st.
Is it Gina Rodriguez?
You're damn right it's Gina Rodriguez.
I don't even have her nominated.
If she is nominated, she will win for the pilot episode if she submits that. It is too good. There's nobody else that will beat her.
CW. I don't know if is it backwards? I don't know. CW.
No, you had it right the other way. Yeah, that way.
Yeah, I mean, if she gets nominated, you're right. She could win, but that's probably the biggest hurdle of the year. Will the Emmy voters finally embrace the CW network? I think it's a great network. I watch a lot of their shows. I'm not going to name them because some of them are quite embarrassing, but I watch a lot of their programs, and they're opening up the voting. I don't know if this matters. They're opening up the voting this year to internet voting, so that might get a younger demographic voting. Hey, that could be in Gina's benefit.
But I think that's only for the actual, not the nomination process. That's only for the voting after you're nominated. So I think the nomination process is the same way. And I agree with you. The CW is the biggest. I mean, those call letters are the biggest hurdle she has. But we also have an unproven streaming program that everybody's considering a lock for transparent, and they're from Amazon Prime. What have we seen? We haven't seen any love given to Amazon Prime, and this isn't their first rodeo. This is the first time they've had programming that they've submitted to the Emmys for contention. So who's to say that they're going to all of a sudden jump all over and give these slew of nominations to transparent? So if my rationale is if they do that, and with Gina or with Jane the Virgin being kind of an Ugly Betty photocopy, and as much as they embrace Ugly Betty, and Gina's would be probably the most diverse person in that group because she's Latina. I think she's got a lot of pluses. She's in the news a lot. She's buzzed about a lot. She's a very smart person, and so I'm hoping that they overlook the CW. But you're right. I mean, I have her in 1st just as if she's nominated, she'd win. But
yeah,
I'm not sure she's going to get nominated as much as I want her to.
Right. I don't have her in my top 6. She's probably 7th place though for me.
But that's great. I mean, whoever you have in your top 6, they'll probably keep dropping out because of the Dixon curse, and she'll make her way up there. So I'm glad. I hope you keep her in like 10.
Amy Poehler, there's no way she's in 6th place. She's 1 or 2 or 3. And look, it's her last season, and Kyle Chandler won for his last season. Sarah Jessica Parker won for her last season. Just last year, Bryan Cranston and Anna Gunn and Aaron Paul, they all won for their last season. So it's the goodbye hug. It's the Emmy voters saying goodbye. Yes, we know Hugh Laurie never won. We know Michael C. Hall never won, and Steve Carell. But I mean, Amy Poehler, if she's nominated, she has that episode where she's locked in the office with Ron Swanson, and the whole half hour is these two. It's like The Suitcase for Parks and Rec. It's so good, so funny, so emotional. I almost want to put her in 1st place, but I can't take Julia out of that spot. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, didn't everybody think, what was it, 2 years ago, she had a great 2-part submission, and everybody was predicting her to win, and she lost. Even though she had a 2-parter in there, I think they're happy nominating her, but I mean, I know some editors that are wavy on if she'll even get a nomination. I think it was Daniel who said that he doesn't even know if she'll even get nominated because there's so much competition this year. So, I guess until we see her nominated, we can't really say what place she'll be in. But I just have her in 6th because I think, there's some heavy hitters this year. Lily Tomlin and Grace and Frankie, she looked great on the trailer for it. Jane Fonda's going to get in on name recognition, and Edie Falco is an interesting one. She's one that it's the last season as well. Why wouldn't they give Edie Falco, who they absolutely love, a last Emmy hug if she's got the tape to do it?
That's true. I have her in 4th. I might bring her up a little bit. And then of the ones that you just mentioned, I have all of those nominated, like Falco, Tomlin, and Fonda. And I also have Ellie Kemper. That's more of a question mark to me, especially because Netflix has Grace and Frankie, so they're going to get 2 there. Are they going to get 3 in this category? I mean, Ellie Kemper is so funny in that show. I don't know. I don't know. But do you want to talk about comedy actor? Who do you have there?
Go. I have, in 1st place right now, I have William H. Macy for Shameless, Jim Parsons, Jeffrey Tambor, Louis C.K., Billy Crystal, and Matt LeBlanc.
I have the same people, except I don't have Matt LeBlanc, even though this season of episodes was my favorite season by far. But I have him going out. I have Will Forte coming in for The Last Man on Earth. This is, I briefly mentioned it in the comedy series race, but this is my favorite new show. It is so unbelievably funny. He also has that unlikable problem, though. Not counting episode 1 and episode 2, after that, he gets to be almost like a villain in this role. And it's gonna be hard for him to win, but if voters are watching, he'll be nominated. But there's that big if.
I don't know if he's, well, I mean, I haven't watched the last 3 episodes maybe, but the last one I watched I thought was really great, and I think should be his Emmy tape if he does get into the race, was the one where January Jones first comes for the full episode, and he really wants to hook up with her, but he's married an episode ago. I really love the balance that he had. I don't think he was unlikable there, because at the end, what happens, he goes back to the woman that isn't as attractive as January Jones and was his wife, and he keeps with his commitment even though he has an in there. So I thought that was, I thought they would go the other way, and they completely surprised and gave him a heart, because not many men would have gone that path, for sure, especially for The Last Man on Earth, and she's the last, one of the last women on Earth. So I don't know. I think it was a great episode for him, and you're right. If he gets in there, he'd be really competitive, and it's on Fox. The Emmys are going to be on Fox. I mean, there's a lot of, potential there. So they're campaigning. You're going to go to an event pretty soon for it. So
yeah,
not out of the realm of possibilities, but in comedy series, you're just out of your mind. That's cool.
Well, it's in 7th place in comedy series, so If I could pick 8, I might have Jane the Virgin in 8th place, or probably Transparent actually in 8th. Maybe Jane would be down in 9th. But we could see 9 nominees. If there's a tie for 7th and 8th place, there's like, what is it, 2% rule?
2% rule, yeah. Up to 9 nominees.
I'm a little hesitant to put Jeffrey Tambor at number 1 because I've had him in number 1. Was it 2 years ago? Arrested Development came back. I had him in number 1 for supporting actor, and then I had his wife on the show. What's her name?
On which show?
Arrested Development.
Oh yeah.
Jessica Walter.
And supporting actress. What's her name?
Jessica Walter. I had her and him both winning for Arrested Development, and they both got snubbed. So I've been down this road before with Tambor. I don't know why I'm putting him in number 1 again, because they clearly don't love him as much as we all think the Emmy voters love him.
And he's not funny.
No.
I mean, look what happened last year. Jim Parsons repeated again because in his episode he had some pretty major laughs in there.
That's a great point.
And that seems to be what they love, in this particular category. So that's why I have Jeffrey Tambor nominated for sure, but I don't have him winning just because in Transparent he's just not. He's just not funny.
But William H. Macy isn't that funny. He plays a character with quirks that you can get behind, but he's not.
Yeah, but this last season he had a great story arc, and there's one episode in particular which I think he should submit, where he actually is funny. He has some laugh out loud moments, and he just has some ridiculous like situational moments. I think he's much funnier than Jeffrey Tambor was in Transparent. But then we'll have to see what Jim Parsons submits, because that dude's always a threat. No matter how much you don't want him to be, he's always a threat. And if he's funny again or he's drunk again, I mean, just give me a damn Emmy.
I'm sure he got drunk. I'm sure the writers give him a drunk episode once a season to win him an Emmy. But yeah, I also have Louis C.K. coming back. I have Billy Crystal coming back. Oh, not coming back, but I have Billy Crystal coming in.
Who's a dark horse because he's actually really funny in his show, and Chris keeps saying that it keeps getting better and better as the season progresses, because Chris watched all of the episodes that were sent over to us. So you never know. And it's Billy Crystal. I mean, he did that great tribute to Robin Williams last year at the Emmys, and he's still Billy Crystal. I mean, he could definitely win an Emmy if he submits the right episode.
I have a feeling that people that like Billy Crystal are the same kind of people that like Robin Williams, and those are the people that snubbed Robin Williams last year. Robin Williams should have been nominated for his show. What was the name of it? I don't even remember, but he was so good on that show. It was the ad sales show, the comedy with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
And I had him winning that too. So you're right. The Dixon curse was crazy last year. Everyone I had winning didn't even get nominated. That's how bad I was. But
no, you had Matthew McConaughey winning. You got nominated.
That's true. But I think everyone in the world had him winning except for you.
That's probably true.
Okay, so let's talk about these supporting races here. I have Allison Janney winning for Mom. What about you?
All right, so there was a big shakeup that Gold Derby just found out today exclusively, and that's that Wendy McClendon-Covey, who was submitted in lead actress last year for the Goldbergs. She was nominated at the Critics' Choice last year for lead actress in a comedy. This year, she is entering the supporting actress race. So make sure you go out and change your predictions, because it's pretty likely with such a weak category, or such a weak category this year, that she could get it there. I mean, the orange women are all gone. They're in drama now. You've got, Jane Krakowski from 30 Rock not taking a spot. Not that was last year. But you just have a lot of open holes there. And, I mean, I had Judith Light in there for a little bit, and I don't even know why. It's just because she was the only name on there that looked like a name check name and something from a show that people may recognize. But I've got Allison Janney, just like you, in first place, and I think she has so many episodes to pick from this season. It's ridiculous. I don't see how she loses.
I'll have to think about that. But right now, I don't have Wendy in my predictions. I have after Alice and Janney, I have Julie Bowen, and look, she could do it again because of that. I keep mentioning it, but I'll mention it again. The Connection Lost episode was so good. She was in every scene. It was just like this. I mean, it was a camera on her on a MacBook the whole time, and at the end she cries. She thinks her daughter is pregnant and got married, I believe, and it's just such a standout episode for her. If she doesn't submit it, she's crazy. I have her in second place. I have Judith Light in third, but I may move her down. And then I have Anna Klumsky, Maya Bialik, and I have Jane Krakowski coming back from Breakable Kimmy Schmidt. It is virtually the same role as her role on 30 Rock. And I mean, if voters loved her in 30 Rock, they're going to vote for her again in this.
Yeah. Well, I have Julie Bowen in second, and I completely agree with you. I think she could actually, pull it off if she does submit Connection Lost. I have Maya Bialik in third, just as a placeholder, as she, continues to be. She never really submits right, but she always gets nominated. Anna Klumsky I have in there, who I think definitely deserves to win one of these at some point. She just needs to have the right episode and submit the right episode. I thought she could have last year, but she didn't really submit very well. And I have...
That's the writer's fault, though. The writers have never given her an Emmy episode.
I know, and she's so good. She definitely deserves one. But and then I actually moved Wendy McClendon-Covey into my fifth slot for the Goldbergs. And in sixth, I have Judith Light out, and I have Kate McKinnon in, because they always seem to love to nominate somebody for Saturday Night Live. And Kate McKinnon just did have, she plays Hillary Clinton now. And so with the presidential race coming up.
And when Amy Poehler was on, she played Hillary Clinton. So
I left her in there, and I took Judith Light out. Just because of that. Jane Krakowski, I would love to put her in there. I mean, my feeling on the show. But I agree with Tom in that, aside from BuzzFeed and Gold Derby, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt isn't really being talked about. And from what the Netflix publicist told us at the Derek event, they're really high on Grace and Frankie, and that seems to be their go-to comedy show to push in. So I don't know how much UKS is going to really... I think a lot of people are hoping it's going to do well. Like Tom said, he hopes it does well, but he's being realistic, and he's not really placing it in very many spots. So I don't have it anywhere, but I'm sure it'll get something.
All of the Emmy voters who voted for 30 Rock 3 years in a row, and who voted for Tina Fey and Alec Baldwin, those people are going to make sure the show gets in. It's a very similar show.
It's not at all. It's a completely different show. There is no Alec Baldwin character in this show, which is what I think this show lacks. It lacks that strong male presence that Alec Baldwin brought, and I think that attracted a lot of those 65 and over, old stodgy Emmy voters that we always talk about. Was his character? You go here, and what do you have? You have a flamboyant roommate and this girl that has zero clue about what's going on, and they're just kind of skipping around the world. And I don't think that's very attractive to that Emmy voter audience, which is why I don't think it'll do that well either. And I don't think it's anything compared to 30 Rock. I thought 30 Rock was genius. I'm not a big fan of Kimmy Schmidt.
I think it'll clean up in nominations, but hey, I've been wrong many times before.
That is very true. It's good. You should get that printed on a T-shirt and wear that for every Slugfest.
John Hamm could win for the show. He's a guest star toward the end of the season. He could actually win. Forget Mad Men. He could win for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
That would be awesome, just because he would never win for Mad Men, but he wins for one small guest spot. But he didn't win for 30 Rock. I didn't watch the Kimmy Schmidt episode he was in, but he didn't win for 30 Rock when he was nominated for Guest Comedy Actor.
Mad Men, by the way, has 34 Emmy losses for its actors and actresses. 34!
Amazing.
Comedy supporting actor.
That means you picked them 34 times? That's insane.
I think the last time I picked an actor from that show was Christina Hendricks. It was season 5, the other woman episode where she has sex with the guy in order to become a partner. I thought that was such a good episode for her, and she ended up losing. I haven't predicted anyone since then. Comedy supporting actor is basically like just copy it over from last year, pretty much. Ty Burrell, Tony Hale, Andre Braugher, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Fred Armisen, and then the newbie I have coming in is Hugh Laurie for Veep. I mean, he's a guest star on the show, but I guess he's going to be in so many episodes that because of the new rule, he has to submit in supporting. So I have him getting in. What are your 6?
I moved Tony Hale up to first based off of his last episode of Veep that we just saw, if he submits it. I have Ty Burrell in second. I have Jesse Tyler Ferguson in third. Andre Braugher in fourth. Even though I'm really iffy on Andre Braugher. And then in my 5th and 6th spot, I have Sam Waterston and Martin Sheen for Grace and Frankie. I mean, they play, two gay guys who leave their wives so they can be together. It's a hilariously juicy type of role. And I mean, we all know the history of Martin Sheen at the Emmys. He never won for The West Wing, but he was nominated like a million times. And Sam Waterston playing against type is probably also, if the show is as good as Netflix says it is, and they put as much behind it as she told us they would, I think they have a great shot to land all 4 of their actors that are kind of acting legends in the television world, one in film.
Sorry, how funny would it be if Andre Braugher, Hugh Laurie, and Martin Sheen were all nominated? These are all drama actors from the 90s and 2000s, and now they're all in supporting actor comedy. How crazy is that?
And Sam Waterston, he's in Law and Order for a million years. That's right. That's a great point.
We should write an article about that. But yeah, you have Tony Hale winning. That's interesting. I'm trying to think, because I have Ty Burrell in my number 1 spot as a placeholder. I'm trying to think. I don't think he's really had an episode this year that could win of Modern Family.
No, and that's why I had him in first, but that's why until this is a couple of days ago, I had moved Tony Hale up just because I thought that scene that he had with Dreyfus was great, and the whole episode was great for him. Of course, that's if he submits it.
Another possibility could be Gary Cole. He got a nomination last year as a guest star, and now he's supporting. So I just wanted to mention him just in case he gets nominated. I could be like, yeah, I mentioned him.
You want to mention everybody that's in the handicap there so that you can say that you mentioned them at some point?
Yeah, let me pull that up here. We should really mention like who Gold Derby's predicting too, who we're not mentioning. Gold Derby has Eric Stonestreet at 18-1 odds. Titus Burgess for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Adam Driver for Girls. Josh Gad for The Comedians. Chris Pratt for Parks and Rec. I would love that to happen, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, the Gold Derby's insane. We already saw that from their, Derby-eyed awards the other day, where you got in 3rd place for editor when you don't do anything. So we can never trust those. And why? That's a good question. Why don't you have Burgess in there? He's the one getting the most, like I guess, acclaim you could say, but you have a lead actress and a series nomination for Kimmy Schmidt.
Right, and I have supporting actress, and I have guest. Actress.
But you don't have the one that's getting the most hype?
I'm going to make a switch right now. I'm going to take out Fred Armisen, and I'm going to put in Titus Burgess, because Titus Burgess is absolutely hilarious. He's so funny in that show. It's just, okay, I'm putting him in right now. Do you any final thoughts on the comedy races before we move on to drama?
I hope they campaign Constance Wu fresh off the boat and supporting as well, because with a few open slots there, I think she may have a chance. But other than that, no more thoughts. Oh, and Eden Sher. I would love for Eden Sher to be nominated. I think she has a winning tape. If she's nominated supporting actress by some miracle, she'll beat Allison Janney for that award, because she has one episode that's incredible. That's all I got.
Yeah. I don't know. season 5 of The Middle or season 6 of The Middle now? Season
6.
6? It's rare for someone in their 6th season to get a nomination for the
Oh
first
yeah,
time.
for sure. And she didn't even do, or she hasn't done a Gold Derby hangout with us yet. So, I mean, like this season, she did like 2 years ago. But I mean, this past season.
What about Merritt Wever?
I forgot about her.
I'm trying to think. She was snubbed last year, right? After she won 2 years ago, she was snubbed last year. It's rare for someone to get snubbed and then come back. Of course, Juliana Margulies did it last year. She was snubbed the year before, and she came back and won, which is even more rare. But I don't know. It could happen. It's the final year. The goodbye hug. Merritt Wever could come back.
Yeah, for sure.
And okay, so drama. What do you have winning best drama series?
Best drama series, in first place, I have Game of Thrones.
Oh, we agree on something.
Yeah, that's scary. But I think after seeing the first 4 episodes that they sent us, after I finished that, I was like, there's really nothing else that's better on television right now than those 4 episodes that I saw. They were consistent. They were strong. They were seamless. It flowed so well. It seemed like all the characters actually had something to do, and the editing wasn't as choppy as it was last season in some places. And I think the performances, I think everybody's on top of their game. Lena Headey, Emilia Clarke, Peter Dinklage, all of them are just giving great performances week after week, or at least in the first 4 or so. And you know, what else is there? There's no more Breaking Bad. I mean, Mad Men could do it, but from what I hear, they haven't really had many stellar episodes recently. The last one, from what somebody told me, was not very good.
No, it's crazy.
And House of Cards was okay. I liked it. It was okay, and that seems to be the only other alternative. In second place, though, I have Orange is the New Black because there's so little on the drama side. So of Orange, House of Cards, Mad Men. In 5th place, I have Empire. 6th, I have Downton Abbey. And 7th, I have Better Call Saul.
We have very similar shows, way different order though. I just wrote an article last week, 2 weeks ago, about how Breaking Bad finally won on its 5th season. 24 finally won on its 5th season. The Sopranos finally won on its 5th season. Game of Thrones could do it. It's very similar to those shows. It breaks the mold in terms of hot buzzy shows that aren't really Emmy friendly shows. It's not a show about a lawyer or a doctor or something. It's something fresh and new. So it could follow that trend of finally winning on its 5th season, but so could Downton Abbey. I mean, yeah, season 1 it won in the miniseries race, but this is season 5 for Downton Abbey. The reviews for that show for season 5 are spectacular too. So I have Downton in 2nd place. It just won the SAG award for best ensemble as well. And then 3rd, I'm gonna make a switch now. 3rd, I'm gonna have House of Cards. 4th, Mad Men. Although you're right, the episodes that we've seen so far, it doesn't have that epic feel to it like it should for a final season, especially a final AMC show, which they set the bar really, really high with Breaking Bad. And, it just feels like another season of Mad Men, in other words. And 5th place is where I have Orange is the New Black. Look, it's a great show. Season 2 was better than season 1, but it does not have the snob appeal. And anyone that has it winning, I think you're crazy. You should reevaluate that because it's the unsnobbiest show on the list right now. It's not going to win. 6th place, I have The Affair because it just won the Golden Globe. 7th place, I have Better Call Saul. I recently took out Empire. I just feel like Empire is too soap opera-y, and I know Daniel Montgomery, our editor, is really banking on it because of the fact that Glee got in and Heroes got in, and these are really popular shows that Emmy just couldn't ignore. But I think those shows still felt like an Emmy show, and Empire really, it just feels like a soap opera to me. And I love every episode, and I'm never going to stop watching it. But it's not an Emmy show.
Um, okay, I think you're wrong. I think it's the most buzzed about show. I think the affair in there is, I mean, just because it won the Golden Globe, so what? Brooklyn Nine-Nine won a Golden Globe. Nip Tuck won a Golden Globe. None of those made it in there. Where you don't have Transparent, and it won a Golden Globe for Best Comedy Series. You don't have it in your comedy series lineup. And in terms of, I think it's something that there would be such an uproar. Sometimes there are shows that the Academy will put in there just because it's a consensus. You know, it's like everybody's watching it. It has changed television in the way that it is gone. It's killed the demo like no other show has in the past, 5 years. I think it's set a record for demo. It rises every single episode that it was on. So I just don't think it's something that they can ignore. I could see if it was half the audience and it was just popular amongst a certain crowd, but this show seemed to be a water cooler show. And if Fox does put the push behind it that they say they're going to put, I don't think that the Emmy voters are going to be able to ignore it. Now, to go to your Orange thing, if you just said about 20 minutes ago that voting has changed and gone online and there could be a younger crowd voting, I think that's why I have Orange in second, because I think that is what would help it, because Orange is still mega popular. It's going to debut its third season right around Emmy time, right in prime opportunity, like Breaking Bad did with it. And I don't see, if they open up voting and there's a bigger crop of people and a younger demographic that are going to vote, I think Orange has a better shot than fifth place.
Yeah, I don't think Orange is ever going to win this. It straddles the line between comedy and drama. I don't know, we've talked about this a million times already, but a comedy, and it's a funny drama, basically. That's not going to win. It's going to be a drama with like real importance to it and snob appeal, and that's going to be something like Game of Thrones or Downton or House of Cards. Drama actress, Viola Davis, is that what you have?
And drama actress?
Yes.
In first place? No, I don't have Viola Davis in first place.
Where do you have Viola Davis?
I have her in second place. I'm probably going to move her down to third, though.
No, the wig scene, come on.
Oh my God. Taraji P. Henson is going to win this Emmy in a landslide. A landslide. Like I said about Uzo, it's exactly what I'm claiming with Taraji. She's going to win this. If she submits the pilot, I watched the pilot again because Daniel had mentioned something and I went back and watched it. That episode is a great episode for her. It's got everything, her crying, her jokes, her entrance, her just everything for her. What?
She's hardly in the pilot.
What are you talking? Go back and rewatch it, because that's what I thought initially. I agree with you. I thought that initially that she wasn't in it very much, but not only is she in it all the time, but she's talked about in every scene by everybody that's in that when she's not on screen. The only time that she's not talked about is, or maybe she is mentioned, is when her cousin gets killed by Lucius out by the lake. Other than that, she's everywhere, and it's a really great episode for her. You see her in jail, and you see her outside of jail. You see her with her kids when she's younger, and you see her with her kids now when she's older. I think it's got everything. So I have her in there. I'm tempted to move, as I mentioned, Robin Wright into second, but then again, Robin Wright showed us last year that she doesn't know which episode to go with ever. So I may not. And then I have Viola Davis in How to Get Away with Murder in third. She can submit anything because it's all the same. She's crying and she's angry. That's pretty much how it is the whole season in every single episode. She doesn't do anything new. She's got no range. That's all it is. I have Juliana in fourth. I have Taylor Schilling in fifth. Which, with that first episode of Orange in season 2, it's a great episode for her if she goes with it. It's a really dramatic one. So she could shock there. And in sixth, I will never, ever give up hope for one Tatiana Maslany.
Oh, Ralph. Oh,
I know.
my God.
I know. It's just, I have to. It's like when you ride a pony so much, you have to stick with it.
Shoot the pony. Shoot it in the head. It's not gonna happen.
I'm with you. I probably won't, but I don't know who else to put in there. I won't put in Ruth Wilson in The Affair because it's just too boring.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put Lizzie Kaplan back in there because she's had, from what I heard, a good episode, and they already nominated her once. Maybe they'll bring her back, but they aren't shy with nominating somebody once and then kicking him out and never, coming up again. Like Martha Plimpton for Raising Hope. She was nominated the first year, and then they booted her, and we never saw her again.
Right. So I have Viola Davis winning by a landslide. I can't believe you have her in third. What are you thinking? She's the movie star that Emmy voters just won't be able to ignore, unlike Matthew McConaughey.
You're right. Let's just recycle what you said last year and bring it here, except put Oscar nominee instead of Oscar winner. And let's not forget, Taraji P. Henson is also an Oscar nominee and a movie star who had 2 #1 box office hits just this past year or last year.
She's a supporting Oscar nominee. Viola Davis is a lead Oscar nominee as well as supporting. She's the Glenn Close of this year. She's the lawyer who was an Oscar nominee that everyone loved, that came to TV, that dropped down to TV and had the show of the year. It's Viola Davis.
Wait, the show of the year? Empire was the show of the year. Let's not exaggerate here. You at least have to admit that Empire was the show of the year.
Well, they're different years because Empire came out in 2015. Robin Wright, I don't know why I have her in second place. On that show, she's so fantastic, but she does not emote a lot. She's very, very silent. It's very internal. And that's great acting, but it's not how you win an Emmy. You win an Emmy by throwing things across the room and taking your wig off in front of the mirror. Juliette Margulies, I have in third place. She's fantastic this season. I wish that she would have more scenes with Archie Panjabi or any scenes with her because they're fantastic when they're together. Taraji P. Henson, I have in fourth place. Claire Danes and Ruth Wilson, the 2 Showtime girls, I have them in 5th and 6th. I could easily boot them out for someone else if you could convince me that I'm wrong. But right now, they're my placeholders there. So I just want to see what Gold Derby is predicting that we are not.
Top category.
Okay. Oh, Kerry Washington. She had that great episode where she was kidnapped. And I had her in third place after that episode aired. I just thought it was so good, but I don't know if she'll get nominated. It's a tough year. Gillian Anderson for The Fall, so great in that show, but I don't know if anyone watches it on Netflix. Elisabeth Moss, what do you think about her chances for Mad Men?
I guess it depends on are they officially going to put her in lead?
I don't know if they've officially made up their minds, but that's where she is in our prediction center. And then Michelle Dockery as well is the other person with greater odds than 100 to 1.
Yeah, for sure. I would probably put her over 3 of the people I have in there just because it's Downton Abbey. But I just at this point right now I'm gonna stick with Tatiana until I decide not to.
Oh gosh, Tatiana's one of those people that could win if she's nominated, but she's not gonna be nominated.
Yeah, probably not.
Speaking of Michelle Dockery, I just want to bring up Hugh Bonneville because the other day I was writing an article about who has 100 to 1 odds that doesn't deserve those, someone that deserves better. And Hugh Bonneville really popped out at me. He was nominated 2 years in a row, and then he only got snubbed last year because of the True Detective category fraud switch. Those guys should have been in miniseries. If McConaughey and Harrelson were in a miniseries, Bonneville would have been nominated last year. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
So going on that basis, I'm pretending Bonneville was nominated last year. So I have him coming back this year. And I'm the only one predicting him. I think it's crazy people have forgotten about him in just 1 year, but I have him in 6th place. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because of the whole Downton Abbey thing, that I think Downton Abbey is going to get way more nominations than people are predicting.
Yeah, just like last year.
Yeah. So what about you for drama actor? Who do you have? Just give me your rundown.
I have Kevin Spacey in first. I have John Hamm in second. I have Bob Odenkirk third. Terrence Howard fourth, James Spader in fifth, and Kyle Chandler in sixth.
Kyle Chandler in sixth?
Yeah.
What? He's going to win. He's going to beat Jon Hamm again.
Who isn't going to beat Jon Hamm? Everybody's beating Jon Hamm.
But of this list, I guess Jeff Daniels has beat Jon Hamm too. So there's two guys in this list that have beat Jon Hamm, and I think Kyle Chandler's going to do it again. He if he gets nominated, of course, which is going to be the tough thing for him because he's so subtle in so many of these episodes. But
well, that's why I have him in sixth. We're not doing these as predictions to win necessarily. We're doing it as predictions to nominate. Oh, see, like I have him in sixth because I need to see that he's going to get nominated first. Because I agree with you. That last episode, the season finale he has in Bloodline, I think is a great episode. But I think Kevin Spacey is pretty well out front in this. He has a fantastic episode early in the season of House of Cards, and for the first time, as you and I know, because we've been to these before, Kevin Spacey is going to show up and do a Q&A at one of these Academy events where they're going to hold it at the Motion Picture Academy instead of the TV Academy because it's a bigger theater, a lot more people. So he's finally campaigning because he knows now that he's got a chance because, you know, before that it was what? It was everything was Bryan Cranston and whoever else.
And maybe he's looked at his Gold Derby odds. He's #1 at Gold Derby right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have Chandler in first. And the one I think he should submit is the one before the finale, when the big scene happens. I'm not going to mention it, of course. Jon Hamm, I have in second place. I don't know why. He should be way lower than that. Not based on acting ability, of course. I want to make clear I'm talking about the Emmys history with Mad Men. Kevin Spacey I have in third place, but I should switch those two. I should switch Jon Hamm and Kevin Spacey. Would you say Kevin should submit the finale or the premiere?
Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
Neither. The premiere, I think he should submit, I believe it was chapter, I'm going to have to go back and look. It was the episode where he has that big crying emotional scene with Robin Wright, and he goes in and it's the episode where he has sex with her on the floor, where they're both on the floor, and she just gets on top of him, and he's crying, and he's got some big speeches and yelling scene. It's a great episode. I can't remember what chapter it is, but no, definitely not the finale. The finale I thought was not a very strong finale for the show. I thought it was really. It played out more like a Scandal episode than anything else. It was just bad.
Yeah, I guess the finale, it just left me with a feeling of, I actually got chills watching his screaming fit in the Oval Office. I couldn't believe how good he was in that scene, how scared I was of him. And I just thought, watching him scream in those final scenes, I'm like, this is his Emmy, not his Emmy episode, but his Emmy clip on Emmy night when they say, the nominees are Kevin Spacey. It'll show that scene, and people in the audience will be like, oh, he should win for that scene. It's such a good scene. But maybe you're right. The whole finale, he's only in maybe half of it because Michael Kelly's storyline takes over for much of it.
And let's remember, he's yelling at his wife. Like, how sympathetic are you going to be to a guy who's just yelling at his wife, and then she says she's going to leave him?
One for that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so did Bryan Cranston, right? In Honest Business, even though it wasn't really, it was more of an act than anything else. But yeah, I just wouldn't go with the finale just for some of the reasons you pointed. He's barely in it, and it's just not a very strong episode.
And then but after those three, I have Jeff Daniels, and then I have Bob Odenkirk, and then I have Hugh Bonneville. Okay, what about Bob Odenkirk here? He could just take the Bryan Cranston spot, just like the show could take Breaking Bad's spot.
I agree. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's good. Jeff Daniels, that's the question mark for me because the show, I mean, we learned last year that it doesn't matter when you air because Breaking Bad aired in like September and it won the following August. So that was an 11-month difference. But with the Newsroom, it was only 6 episodes and it aired and no one's talking about it. That's the big difference. The newsroom is out of sight, out of mind. He could be snubbed completely.
I agree. I don't have him in there.
Okay, so other people that Gold Derby is predicting is Dominic West for The Affair, Clive Owen for The Nick. That's a very strong possibility.
Yeah,
James
for sure.
Spader. Oh, you mentioned James Spader. That's it. Not a lot of options here. Why are you predicting James Spader, by the way?
I don't know. I would probably come to think of it, putting Clive Owen for The Nick instead of him. But Showtime doesn't really have a great track record for getting their actors in there. I mean, everybody thought last year that Michael Sheen was going to get in there for that one boring sex show that's on there, but he didn't. I have Spader in there just because they didn't nominate him last year because it was a crowded field. You know, they have 3 open spots now, and he's still James Spader. He's got a great arc this season with his who we think is his daughter on the show, and he's gotten beat up, almost killed. He cries. I mean, he's done a lot this season, more than he did last season. So I think he's got a good shot, but who knows? I'd probably also put him in there just because, aside from Terrence Howard, he's the only network person in there. I mean, if they go with the other guys, it's all cable and online, no network.
Yeah. I think, I mentioned Bonneville last year would have been nominated. I think James Spader would have been nominated if not for True Detective.
Yeah.
So
Woody Harrelson and McConaughey each took 2 spots.
Yeah. Okay, drama supporting actress. This is where I have Maggie Smith winning again. And then I have Christine Baranski in second. Good Wife actress wins every single year. She hasn't yet, so it could be her turn. What do you have for who's winning this?
Come on, you gotta ask.
Uzo?
I got Uzo at number 1.
Well, the finale, right? Because that scene
Yeah.
in the interrogation room, that was really good.
Yeah, got Uzo, and she knows she's got. You feel sorry for her, like Tom says that and we all know that the Emmys want to hug you at some point, and she's getting this whole crap thrown at her that she's the one who beat up Red, and she's going along with it because she just doesn't know any better, and so you feel for her as she's getting kind of interrogated, and everybody's just spewing on her, and I don't know. I think she's great with the material she has, and she's in a lot of the finale, like more than half of the finale. So I think it's a strong tape for her if she does submit it. So I have her in first. I haven't watched Downton Abbey, so I don't know what Maggie Smith has, even though I hear she has some awesome material. And she did just announce that it was going to be her next season is her last season. Is that right?
Well, I think the show's ending next year.
Oh, is it? Okay, well then it's ending anyway. So yeah, I have Christine Baranski for The Good Wife in third. I have, unfortunately, because I don't really think she deserves it or did anything, but I have Sissy Spacek as a name check nomination for Bloodline. And then my last 2 spots, I have both of the Game of Thrones women, Lena Headey and Emilia Clarke, because I think the Emmys are smart. They watched the show, obviously, because one year they nominated Lena Headey in her strongest year, and the year before that they nominated Emilia Clarke in her strongest year. So they knew when each of them were doing particularly great work, and I think this season, from the episodes that we've seen, they're both doing some great standout work. So that's why I have both of them in there.
I didn't hear you say Lorraine Toussaint.
I know. I don't know if she'll get in. If she does, I think she's going to be a huge threat to win, depending on what she submits.
Yeah, I have her in fourth place. It's the whole Margot Martindale situation. She came in as a guest star basically, but she was in almost every episode, so she has to go supporting, and she just completely dominates the season. She is the season basically. I have her getting nominated, but I don't have her winning. But that could change after we see episode submissions. I have Christina Hendricks in fifth. I'm starting to rethink that. The third episode of Mad Men will probably be her episode because she had a lot of screen time, but in typical Mad Men fashion, there there was no fireworks in that episode. It was just, her falling in love with a new guy, and I feel like we've done this before. We've seen this before. So I could see her easily getting a nomination, but she probably can't win. And then I had Sissy Spacek until I watched Bloodline. After I watched it, I took her out and I put in Linda Cardellini from Bloodline. I think Linda Cardellini is absolutely amazing in that show. And she did get nominated for Mad Men just 2 years ago. So the Emmy voters know who she is. So I'm hoping if they watch Bloodline, they will do the right thing and put the person in there who deserves to be nominated and not just someone who's a name check nomination. And okay, let me look at who else is nominated, or who people at Gold Derby are predicting to be nominated. Joanne Froggatt for Downton Abbey. She just won the Golden Globe. Not that that matters according to you. Kate Mulgrew, Laverne Cox, Carrie Coon for The Leftovers. So those are some options that you guys are thinking of. Okay, let's go to the final category we're going to talk about is drama supporting actor. Who do you have?
Oh man, I have almost the same as last year, kind of. I have I do have Jonathan Banks in first after that episode of Better Call Saul. I think he was phenomenal in it, even though the first half was like watching somebody paint a wall or write an encyclopedia. It was so boring. But the second half was a knockout portion for him. So if voters can stay awake for that second half, I think he's got this nomination and probably the actual Emmy. I have Peter Dinklage in second, Jon Voight in third, Jim Carter in fourth, Mandy Patinkin in fifth, and Ben Mendelsohn for Bloodline in sixth.
Once again, the person in your sixth place is the person I'm predicting to win. Ben Mendelsohn is absolutely, can't take your eyes off of him. And I know there's a lot of controversy in our forums at Gold Derby where they think he should go lead, and maybe he should, maybe he shouldn't. That's not our decision to make. I just think if he goes supporting, he is the winner. He is take it to the bank. He's going to be just like the guy from Damages, Jelko Ivanek, maybe that's how you pronounce it. It's a role very similar to that, only 10 times better, 10 times more engaging. And, I watched an interview that Daniel Montgomery did with him and Kyle Chandler. He's not even American. You would never know that because he's kind of an underrated actor. You don't really know. You haven't seen him in a lot of things, or you do, and you don't really know much about him as a person. He completely blew me away in the show. And if there's any justice at the Emmys, he will win. But there's no justice.
So I can write that down as a non-win because Marcus has him in first place. It sounded a lot like your preaching of last year. So I've jotted it down. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. And then Peter Dinklage and then Jon Voight. I have Mandy Patinkin, Jim Carter, Jonathan Banks.
Whoa, you have Jonathan Banks all the way at the bottom?
Yes, because aside from that one episode
where he cries about his dead son.
Yeah, aside from that, he didn't do anything this season.
Neither does Sissy Spacek. I guess you don't have her in there.
Yeah, I don't have her. Other people that are Gold Derby odds makers think that Alan Cumming could get in, which is great. He is having a great season on The Good Wife. John Slattery, what are you guys thinking? Why are you predicting John Slattery? That's not going to happen. Michael Kelly, that could happen. What do you think about Michael Kelly's chances for House of Cards?
I think it would be great, but I don't see them really. They have never been too. They've never rewarded really the supporting players on House of Cards. Like last year, it deserved. Like the first year when Stoll was when he died in the first season of House of Cards, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, he had such a great performance," and everything else, and everybody thought he was going to get nominated and potentially win. They snubbed him, and so they haven't really shown that they really care much about the supporting characters. It seems like House of Cards to them is just the big ones, the big guns, which is, series, directing, writing, actor, and actress for sure. So it would be great if he's in there. He has a great episode. It's that first episode of the season, I believe.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy to switch it out for somebody, but I just don't know who to take out in that lineup. Maybe Mendelsohn, just to make you mad.
No, I did get mad. I got mad. Jim Carter. We'd be crazy not to put him in our nominations because he gets
insane
every year. So the year that we don't predict, or the year that we predict him, it'll be the opposite, is what I'm trying to say. Like Mariska Hargitay, I would never predict her, and she would always get nominated. So finally, I predicted her, and she got snubbed. But yeah, it's going to be similar. I think this category is going to be similar to last year. But with Aaron Paul, 3-time winner Aaron Paul, not in this category, someone else could very well win, except for Peter Dinklage. He could win again. But you've seen 4 episodes of Game of Thrones. Does he have an Emmy episode yet? I've only seen 2.
No.
So maybe that's coming. All right, so those are our predictions. Do you have any final thoughts, Ralph?
No, but I want to know of everyone, who is the one nomination you would be the most thrilled about seeing? What off the radar nomination, not one that we're all predicting that had been nominated in the past, but a new blood that's in there. What would be the new one that you would really want to see? Just one.
Last Man on Earth, best comedy series. It would just make me so happy. And yours would be Gina Rodriguez.
Would it be? Yeah, you're probably right. Well, I don't know. Actually, yeah, that's right. For a nomination, yes, that would be the one. And so I'm sorry, Tatiana, but Gina Rodriguez would be the one, just because I think she's done stellar work this season, and I think she could actually win if she gets in there.
Yeah, and then for wins, I think Game of Thrones winning Best Drama would make me the happiest, because it's a long time coming. And Breaking Bad and Mad Men kind of dominated that over the past 6 or 7 years, and of course Homeland won 1 year as well. But it's time for a new show to get in there, and this is the year that it'll happen. I think. Could be wrong.
It's a good one.
Okay, that is it for now. We'll be back soon to talk about more Emmy stuff. So thanks for watching.